Thank you, Mr. Vought. You have two shots. I have two interviews with me, so that you had double bonus here. So you did a great job in the Homeland Security Committee. Appreciate your transparency, your answers. And I'll start where I ended in that session, which is thank you. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Thank you for your willingness to put yourself through this process. And thank you for the great thought and intellect that you're going to bring to this job. Since this is a meeting where we should be questioning you and not just giving you opinions that you respond to, if it's okay, we'll give you some quick 10 questions. Is that okay?
Sure.
So there's been a lot of comments, especially from the ranking member, about betraying working Americans. So let me ask you a question. When the government forgives the debt of people who took out a loan for college debt, does that help working Americans like my technicians, my sales consultants, my receptionists, my drivers, my car wash guys who didn't go to college? Does it help them when student debt is illegally forgiven?
It doesn't.
When you have insane government spending that unleashes generationally high inflation, that makes going to Taco Bell a luxury, does that help working class Americans?
It doesn't.
When you spend hundreds of billions of dollars to fight endless wars in foreign countries that most Americans don't even know where they are, does that help working Americans?
No.
When you have policies that all of them voted for, every single one of them voted for electric vehicle subsidies, so that when I had a Rolls-Royce dealership, a customer could come in and lease a $515,000 Rolls-Royce Spectre, that's a fully electric Rolls-Royce, and get a check for $7,500 from the U.S. government. Does that help working class Americans?
No.
And again, I just put on the record that every single one of my colleagues on the Democrat side voted for just such a subsidy. When you house illegals in this country, people who are not invited here like I was, like my family was, when you house them in luxury hotels at a cost of $6,000 per month per room, does that help working class Americans?
No.
When you give health care to those very illegals, when Americans don't have the health care that they need, does that help working class Americans?
No.
When you provide food to illegals, and in some cases, when they don't like the food, you give them $1,000 prepaid credit cards, does that help working class American citizens?
No, sir.
When you give sex change operations to illegals, does that help working class Americans?
No.
When you offer DEI courses, and instead of being promoted based on merit, and rather you have this insane move to DEI, does that help working class Americans?
No.
And when you fly immigrants from foreign countries to the United States on private jets, does that help working class Americans?
No.
So last question for you. You can answer it however you'd like, Mr. Vought. Why do you think hourly wages for working class Americans declined under the policies of Joe Biden and Democrat control of Congress? And yet when President Trump was in the White House, hourly wages actually went up for the first time in a generation.
Well, Senator, thanks for the question. I think it's because we had an administration that was doing everything it can to unleash the American economy, have cheap energy, to be able to have a regulatory sector that was not adding burdens, that was not worth it from a cost-benefit perspective, and to free the American people and entrepreneurs to take risk and to hire people and to increase salaries. And I think you get that with the policies that the president has run on. And I think we're going to see that in a very soon amount of time.
So if you were to say who betrayed working class Americans, was it Joe Biden and the Democrats or President Trump?
He certainly was not President Trump.
Thank you.